Hey there! So in today's video, we're going to talk about what you need to consider before getting a dog. And this is especially for people who are new to dog ownership, or maybe you, like many people, prefer to call yourself a dog parent. But these are the things you'll want to make sure you're ready for before bringing your first dog home. Okay, so number one, what type of dog do you want? I would recommend putting together a list of dog breeds maybe you've always wanted, or you're most interested in, or you think will be best for you and your family. Then you'll want to learn the traits, personality, trainability, and activity of each of those individual breeds. Don't pick a dog solely on their looks. A lot of people do that. And what happens is months or a couple years down the road, that cute dog ends up in a shelter. And it's all because the people overestimated their ability to care for that breed of dog, and it became too much to handle. So that point takes me to number two, which is training. How much time will you have to put into training for the dog? And you should know that, especially for the first-time dog parent, training is just as important to you as it is for the dog. You'll need to learn how to communicate with your dog. Take your dog or your puppy to puppy classes or basic obedience and learn about lure reward, positive reinforcement, and operant conditioning. Never, ever, ever be mean or get frustrated with your dog. There's no reason or place for that. That anger or frustration is because your lack of communication with the dog is failing. So if that anger or frustration does set in, go ahead and just take a step back and stop training just on your own. Find a good dog trainer that you trust and you work well with. Because if you do continue down that road of negativity, I guarantee you it will backfire on you. You or your dog will not be happy. So yeah, just go out, find a trainer, go to a puppy class, go to obedience groups. And not only will those classes benefit your training, but they will also give your dog socialization, which is so important. If you do end up getting a puppy, then once they've had all of their vaccinations, take them to puppy class and get them introduced to other dogs, more people, and continue their socialization by introducing them to other animals, maybe cats, horses, birds. Be very careful. Do not let your puppy injure the other animal or get injured by the other animal, but definitely take them out and socialize them to as many things and many people as you possibly can. It will set them up for success as they get older. If you adopt an older dog, of course, at that time, you'll need to make sure that they're good with other dogs and friendly towards people before approaching other dogs or other people. And if they are not, again, you'll want to find a trainer that can help you work with your dog and at least get them comfortable at a safe distance around other people and other dogs. Number three is grooming. How much time are you going to be able to dedicate to grooming? Short-haired breeds don't need much grooming, but you will still need to clean their ears and trim their toenails. Of course, longer-haired breeds, curly or wired hair breeds, they will need some grooming. Depending on the coat type, it could mean daily grooming or weekly grooming. Will you have time for that? If not, is there a groomer in your area? And will you have the time to take your dog to the groomer around every 4 to 6 weeks? So keep that in mind. Number four is lifestyle. Do you live an active lifestyle, or is it one that's a little bit more easygoing? How much time will you be able to set aside per day to take your dog out on walks or maybe play with them in the backyard and just make sure that they get enough exercise every day for their breed type? Other things to consider when thinking about your lifestyle would be things such as, do you live alone or do you live with family? Do you live in a house with a fenced yard? Or do you live in an apartment? Are you going to be away all day at work, or do you work from home? All of these are factors that you'll have to consider because they will have an effect on your dog. If you get a puppy or an older dog that's not accustomed to indoor living, you'll also need to puppy-proof your house. They may try to chew on cords or your furniture, and you'll need to give them access to toys or something safe to chew on. If you don't give them this outlet, then it is very likely that you'll come home one day to destroyed furniture or something worse. Number 5 is cost. Now, this is actually something that people don't often take into consideration. It's not just the price that you pay for the dog, but you'll also need to be sure you can afford to keep the dog. Think about how much you want to spend on dog food, as prices can vary quite a bit depending on what you decide to feed. Most people feed their dogs a processed food, which is either kibble or canned. And you can get a premium brand or you could get a cheap grocery brand. So that's going to vary very heavily in price right there. You may also decide that you want to feed your dog a balanced fresh food diet. That type of diet might up the cost as well. So consider that. Other monthly expenses could include grooming, training, doggy daycare. You may need accessories like a crate, training tools, toys, and of course, a collar and leash. You'll also need to be prepared for vet expenses. You'll need to take your dog to the vet for their yearly checkups, but also be prepared for the unexpected vet visit or an emergency vet visit. And of course, emergency vet visits are always more expensive. Of course, there could always be other expenses. You might show your dog, so you would need to pay for entry fees, or you might have your dog in an obedience competition. But once again, I just wanted to mention the costs involved because many people do overlook the expenses. Okay, well, if you watched this whole video and are ready to start thinking about what breed is perfect for you, check out my other videos and check out the most recent video I posted, which was prior to this one. It's called What Dog Breed Should I Choose? Okay, thank you so much for listening.